7 News at 5 starts right now.
This is the beginning of a Russian invasion of Ukraine.
The U.S. and Europe announced sanctions against Russia as Russian troops move into Ukraine.
If Russia goes further with this invasion, we stand prepared to go further as with sanctions.
And President Biden orders more troops to the region.
We have no intention of fighting Russia.
And a home explosion rocks a Westminster neighborhood as investigators search for the cause in the rubble.
My son heard the bomb like a bomb.
Rocked the whole house, shook everything.
Extreme temperature drop. Colorado tackles day 2 of the deep freeze.
So plenty of watches, warnings, and advisories still in effect. Coming up, how much more snow to expect and when temperatures will finally warm up.
But for some, working in this freezing cold is just another day.
It's not that bad though.
Don't get me wrong, it's pretty cold, but you know, it's Denver.
And good evening to you, and thank you so much for joining us at 5. I'm Ann Trujillo.
I'm Shannon Ogden. Glad you're with us tonight. First tonight, these freezing temperatures. Now, today, Denver hit a record. So we hit a high of just 8 degrees at DIA.
And the old record was a high of 15 degrees. That was set back in 1913. And along with this freeze, we still have off and on snow. And we have team coverage for you on this Weather Action Day. Meteorologist Mike Nelson is tracking these extremely cold temperatures and, of course, the snow.
First, let's get to Denver 7's Russell Haythorne. Russell, you talked with people working out in the cold today who really didn't seem to mind too much.
Yeah, they have no other choice but to be out here working, Shannon, and we're finding that they're a really hardy bunch. It's about 7 degrees right now at our location here in central Denver. I don't think the temperature ever got above single digits here. But again, for those who have to work in this, we're finding out they're taking it in stride. You don't look that cold.
No, I actually am always in a shirt usually. They're heavy too. I'm from Iowa. This is not cold.
Paul Nobling and his crew are working on the basement remodel at the state capitol building. He says the key to keeping warm is to constantly stay moving. There's also very little wind today, which takes a bit of the biting chill out of the air. What's real cold?
North Dakota, 68 below. Yeah, that's really cold.
In North Dakota right now, definitely not 68 below out here. You're looking at traffic on Spear, crossing over I-25 right there, and traffic moving along just fine. I think a lot of people took advantage of this weather, perhaps took the opportunity to work from home because Mike, it is not pleasant out here. I'll toss it to you in the studio.
You know, it's not 68 below, but it's cold enough out there, I'll tell you that, Russell. Took a look at the lows this morning. We had some really cold conditions, below zero on the eastern plains, including Denver's 3 below zero. And as far as the highs today, as we mentioned at the top of the show, is only 8 degrees, the coldest high temperature for the 22nd of February on record in Denver. Now, it's a lot milder off on the western part of the state. They have more of a Pacific air mass there. On the eastern plains, it's all Arctic, folks, with the wind chills as cold as 19 below at Sterling. And with that, you can imagine a wind chill advisory for tonight and early tomorrow all across eastern Colorado. As I mentioned, to the west, it's more Pacific moisture, and that's where the storm warnings are with the heaviest snows. Perhaps another 1 to 2 feet of snow coming up for the San Juan Mountains in the next 36 hours. But we do have some bands of snow coming our way, and they're working their way northward back into the metro area. Looking at downtown now, it's pretty much a winter wonderland out there, and you might wonder, when does this winter weather get out of here? It is in the 7-day forecast when temperatures will get back above freezing over the weekend. I'll have details on that coming up in about 15 minutes.
All right, we're looking forward to that. Thank you, Mike. And most of us humans obviously aren't fans of this freezing cold. Most of our pets aren't either. The Dumb Friends League is reminding everyone that pets can also get frostbite too, even if they have plenty of fur.
Remember, their long coats are going to keep them warm, but if they're not groomed, they're not going to do their job. So make sure you're keeping that brushed out, keeping it clean, so that it's able to really protect them.
Another piece of advice, dry off your dog's paws and bellies when they come back inside. This not only helps keep your floors clean and warm up your dog, and also can keep your pup from licking the chemicals or the salt on their paws that they are picking up from the roads and sidewalks.
Well, today's A-line delays had nothing to do with the cold or snow. RTD says the train to the plane will be running now every 30 minutes instead of every 15 minutes because of staffing shortages. So for the most accurate train times, download the RTD app. You can also find our weather stream 24/7 on the free Denver 7 app, available to download right now for your phone and streaming device.
The U.S. says the Russian invasion of Ukraine has begun, and now President Biden is issuing new sanctions targeting Russian banks and oligarchs.
Russia's President Vladimir Putin says his goal is to, quote, maintain peace by ordering troops into eastern Ukraine after recognizing the independence of two separatist areas there. Now, President Biden says Russia, though, is poised to move deeper into Ukraine.
Who in the Lord's name does Putin think gives him the right to declare new so-called countries on territory that belong to his neighbors? This is a flagrant violation of international law and demands a firm response from the international community.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken says he will not meet with Russia's foreign minister this week, effectively pushing back a possible summit between Putin and Biden. Well, today, President Biden also announced he was repositioning U.S. troops and equipment to strengthen U.S. allies in Europe. The president made it clear they would not be there to fight Russia.
And the U.S. isn't alone in issuing sanctions against Russia. The European Union unanimously agreed on sanctions for Russia's parliament and other Russian officials who were in favor of recognizing the separatist-held sections of eastern Ukraine. Also, Canada is sending hundreds more troops to Eastern Europe to help NATO forces there. The stock market here in the U.S. also took a hit today. The S&P fell 1%, closed more than 10% below its all-time high that was set back in January. Also, crude oil prices surged to $99 per barrel today, and Russia is one of the world's largest producers of oil and natural gas, accounting for 17% of the world's natural gas and 12% of its oil. And right now, gas in Colorado is averaging about $3.35 a gallon. That's lower than the national average of $3.50.
New at 5, investigators say possible human remains have been found in all that debris of a home that exploded this morning in Westminster. Denver 7's Ivan Rodriguez joins us live at the site. This is near Highway 36 and Federal. Ivan, neighbors tell you it sounded like a bomb went off this morning. Also at this hour, investigators do not know what caused it.
It's heartbreaking news out of this Westminster community. We just finished seeing fencing go up around the property. All day we've seen investigators search for signs of anyone who may have been on the property at the time of the explosion. The Westminster Police Department now telling us that a cadaver dog with South Metro Fire finding possible human remains. Around 2:30 Tuesday morning, while most neighbors were sleeping, what sounded like a bomb shook this Westminster neighborhood.
It's a lot of smoke in the house, just shaking. Then I say, oh my God, what's going on?
Knocked plants over, knocked pictures off the wall. And I had originally thought a car hit my house because I'm right here at the intersection.
But as neighbors went outside, they saw one of the houses on the street was no longer there.
I could see that the house was gone and there was smoke and debris rolling out.
I mean, it's really sad to see, but I mean, it was kind of dangerous, clearly, with something like this to happen, you know?
Neighbors in the area tell Denver 7 the home caught fire in April of last year and was condemned shortly after. Since then, they say the property owner and a family member would return to the home occasionally.
It's been burned out, boarded up, and it's had a inhospitable sign on the door, but the previous tenants were still, you know, going in and out and living in there.
He's been living in it like ever since and like trying to stay warm and starting little bonfires and stuff like on the inside.
Some neighbors say they voiced their safety concerns to the city, but nothing was ever done. Denver 7 reached out to the city of Westminster for clarification, but did not hear back.
I know it's been kind of like a crazy circumstance going on over there, and I think the city's kind of failed a little bit of a part of it. I feel like they have kind of let us down.
2 nearby homes and several cars were damaged, but no other injuries were reported. Investigators say they're continuing to find what was the cause of the explosion. The Adams County Coroner's Office says they'll reveal the identity of the person once family members have been notified. Live in Westminster, Ivan Rodriguez, Denver 7.
All right, thank you, Ivan. Still ahead for you at 5. When you call an ambulance, you expect it to show up within minutes.
For one Denver hospital, that's not always the case.
How common are delayed, extremely delayed response times from Denver Health?
Talk to any firefighter, talk to any paramedic. They know what happens all the time.
Our Denver 7 investigative team is taking questions directly to Denver Health, asking what the hospital is doing to improve ambulance waiting times.